On this video, I'm going to be talking about the art of surrender and letting go, how to do it, why it's so powerful, and how this has actually transformed my life since I started practicing it. Hey, welcome back to another video. My name is Kara Michelle, and I'm here to help you live your truth. And the art of surrender is such a powerful practice. It is difficult to do sometimes. I will put that out there before I even get started, but it really can change everything the more you become aware of it and the more you practice this. So to get started, we basically have, if we look at when you are stuck in control mode, the opposite of surrender is control, right? We want control over everything. We think it has to happen our way. We think we know best. Or maybe it's not even that, but it's like we're so desperate to have something that we believe we're going to have to force ourselves to get it, right? That is control. So control, force, all of that goes together. Then we have surrender, which is the opposite. It's letting go, right? It's leaning back. It's saying, yep, I'm ready. You can just come make your way to me now, instead of being, I have to make this happen, right? So there's two examples and or two extremes. And basically, if we break it down like that, it's force. It's force versus flow, right? So force versus flow. Now, the reason I have the ego here is because this is how the mind works. And the ego mind is very much about itself, right? Now, everyone has an ego. Everyone has some ego problems in their lives. Some people have a really big ego that keeps them thinking they are the center of attention. They are the most important person in the world, right? That's when we look at people and go, oh, they're so egotistical or so conceited or over the top, right? The opposite, the ego I personally struggled with without realizing it was an ego, is like the ego that makes you feel small. So this is the ego that says, everybody's probably looking at me. Oh, they're all probably judging me. What are they thinking? Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed or anxious or insecure about showing up because they're going to have these negative thoughts, right? That's the ego. It's still the ego mind because it's still selfish. It's still telling you that everyone is focused on you, but it's coming in a small energy of they're focused on you and like looking at you with judgment versus they're focused on you and looking at you as amazing, right? So can you see how this is still an ego? And let me know in the comments if this makes sense. But the ego mind does this. It keeps us very focused on ourselves, whether big or small, and it keeps us focused on what we think we are in charge of being control over, of having control. You know what I'm saying? So the ego keeps us in that place. Now, when you start to practice the art of surrender, you are opening up to a higher power. I am just missing the mark today with these backwards pointing. The ego keeps you focused in a very small space. This is all you can personally control. In your life, you cannot control what happens tomorrow. You can't control a lot of aspects in your life. Look at everything with this coronavirus right now and how many people are forced to see that they cannot control all these things, you know? We do not have as much power as we like to think we do. We are, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. So when you open up to the higher power, look at how much it can do and look at how much like opportunity there is. And obviously this is just a drawing, but imagine in your life right now, if you really want something and you are working so hard to force it to happen and your ego is keeping you in like, I'm gonna do this, it has to happen my way, I want it to happen by this date, this is all that I'm planning it, I'm forcing it, I'm like struggling to create it, there's limited opportunities or limited ways for it to work out. You might get there, you might do it and achieve it, but there's a lot of force, hustle, and tension as you're doing it. Now, say you open up out of the ego and you lean back, you practice the art of surrendering, you lean back to a higher power and you go, you know what? There's a million ways that this could show up or that this could work out for me. And quite honestly, I probably only know a few of them. But it could show up like this could happen, this person could come into my life, I could get an email about that, maybe so-and-so tells me about this tomorrow, right? Maybe someone sees this. Like, there are more ways than you could imagine where things could work out for you. And this is where I love the teachings by Abraham Hicks, because it's all about surrendering, aligning your energy with the fact that it is yours. If you desire it, it is yours, but you don't need to force it to make it happen. So when you open up to the higher power and you're saying, hey, look, I know I can only control so much, and I know that there is a force in the world far, far greater than my own mind and than who I am, and I'm going to trust and ask for support or guidance in getting to where it is I want to be, and I'm going to still take action. I'm still going to follow the impulses and follow what I feel is best to get there, and follow whatever kind of signs or nudges come my way. I'm still taking action, but I'm letting go of the force and the need to control, and I'm trusting that there is something here bigger than me that is going to help make it happen. And this has been a huge part in my own life, with my business, with my social media channels, with my coaching programs, with my desire and my end game of where I see myself in the next few years. There, for a while, for the last few years, the first few years of my business, there was so much force, so much hustle, so much in this ego mind of like, I have to do it right now. This is where I have to start. This is what I have to do next. This, very compartmentalized and focused. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because you know what? I accomplished a lot of things, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm happy to be where I am today. But I also realized that kept me limited into thinking I had to do it my way. And it also kept me in a cycle that created a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of burnout, because I was trying to do it all my own, my way or the highway. Now, as I started to reflect and reconnect spiritually, because I'll be totally honest, the first year of my business, I stopped all my meditation practices. I really stopped taking care of my spiritual side, which had been such a huge component in the last few years. And that was the whole reason I started this business, to share that with others and share what I learned in India and Sri Lanka and Bali and all over the world. And I stopped applying it to myself because I was so busy forcing what I thought I needed to be doing. So when I started to lean back and reflect on this and surrender and go, man, I gotta let go. I have to open up and ask for support, and I have to trust that I know in my heart and soul what I'm destined to do, and I know the impact I'm here to make. I know the people whose lives I'm here to touch. I know that that's going to come. So instead of forcing it and being stressed and trying to make it happen right now, I start stepping back and I start going, you know what? I know it's going to work out. I'm going to show up, do what I feel like doing, what I know will help people, and I let the universe or God or the angels step in and help support me and guide me there. So it's really helping you to also just feel more supported. And another example was when I was in Bali about a month ago. And this story really made some of my friends laugh, because they were like, whoa, I can't believe you handled it this way. But I was in Bali. The very first day I took money out of an ATM, and they give you your money before they give you your card. So I took the money and I never took my Visa. And I didn't realize this. About a week later, I went to pay for something and I was like, I don't know where my Visa is. And then I was like, well, it'll be fine. And then by week 2, I was running out of cash and I went, okay, I need to find this Visa. And I realized, I looked, there were no charges on my account. You know, I did those practical things. I wasn't just wandering, floating around on a cloud. I did look and check into these things. But I realized, okay, it's gone. So the machines there eat the cards up and they actually destroy them after a few days. So I went to the bank. They said it was too late. It was already gone. And I had another card, but it wasn't working in any of the ATMs because I hadn't used it very often and I didn't have the right pin. They couldn't send me the pin to Bali, and long story short, I really, instead of being stressed and forcing and in the ego of like, I need this to work out for me, I was very connected to myself at that time, and I had been doing more of my spiritual practices again and really tuning into myself. So I was feeling good no matter what. And I really took on the art of surrender, where that day before going to the bank, I said to my buddy there, I was like, you know what? If I get here and they have my card, it's beautiful. And it means I can stay in Bali a little bit longer, or I can continue my traveling. If I can't get it, it's beautiful. It means I can go home for a little while, get a new card sent to me. I can visit my family. I knew my dad was having health issues, so I really wanted to get there to see him anyway. And everything with the coronavirus was just kind of starting at this time and starting to escalate. So there was that part of me. I could not envision myself traveling anywhere. I didn't really feel great about staying in Bali, which is crazy because it's one of my favorite places on the earth. But something didn't feel right. And so instead of trying to force what I thought I wanted, I opened up, I surrendered, I asked for guidance, and I trusted the signs that came their way. And fast forward to where we are now, I am so grateful and lucky and happy that I was able to leave Bali when I did, that I was able to be here, spend more time with my dad, because it turns out my intuition was right and he is needing really intense surgery very soon. And we're finding out more about that right now, so that's good. I'm happy to be here. But I trusted the impulses, I surrendered. Had I tried to force what I thought I wanted and what the ego mind was telling me should be on the agenda, who knows what could have happened. And this is where a lot of times we get into struggle. So that's kind of the moral of the story, is sometimes we get caught up in the ego. We continue to force things because we think it needs to happen the way we want it, and we actually end up creating more problems for ourselves and for that situation. Whereas if you can take a step back and you go, okay, let me just tune in, what needs to happen here? Do I need to do it my way? Are there 100 other ways that it could work? Let me reflect and see what these could be, and think in what feels really best for me, and how can I ask for support and guidance. And this doesn't mean you have to be a crazy spiritual person. You do not have to be a religious person. Before I got into spirituality, I still would kind of say, hey, help me out. I didn't know who I was talking to, but I would just say, like, can you please help me? Can you please support me? Help me see this through, or help me see the answers, right? Asking for that guidance. And so whether you believe in God and you're praying to God, whether you're asking the angels, whether you're talking to the universe, whether you are talking to yourself and your source and your energy, your soul, and just saying, hey, guide the way. It is totally up to you, but it's just so powerful to take on that energy, to lean back, to trust, and be open to receive whatever is meant for you. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe button. I share videos every day. I'd love to have you stick around. If you have any questions, comment down below. I love hearing from y'all. And let me know if this resonates, and I'd love to hear any of your own stories about surrender as well, and how this may have impacted your life. So see you guys on the next one.